Aquarian Pools and Spas. If you can dream it, they can build it. More than 50 years in business. Start your dream pool today. Aquarian Pools and Spas. 803-732-3636.
I don't think we've questioned LaNorris Sellers' work ethic. My question last year was, did he have that dog in him? And that's kind of the phrase the kids use now to describe that attitude, to take the next step from what he was in 2024 to being the elite quarterback he was projected to be in 2025. Did he have that in him? And I don't know whether he did or didn't. Did he put in the extra work? Did he spend the extra time during the offseason in 2025 learning what he needed to improve upon? I think the easiest thing in the world is to blame Mike Shula and just say, well, Shula didn't know what he was doing, and he was a goober and old and so forth and so on. And while some of that may be true, it's not all true. I'm not telling you that, again, I'm not trying to sell LaNorris Sellers down the river and tell you that, well, he didn't work at all. That I don't think that's true. But we all know to be an elite level player, and again, elite is top 10, top 5 type NFL draft pick, which LaNorris Sellers was being projected as. There has to be an extra layer of work that you put in, and you have to go harder than most. And I don't know if that necessarily occurred. It does feel like when you hear Kendall Briles kind of say that it has dawned on LaNorris now that, yeah, there are things he's got to work on. And I think we don't know. You can make assumptions all you want, but we don't know if Kendall Briles is the right guy for LaNorris Sellers. But a few days in, that's what we're hoping for. But then the question becomes how Kendall Briles wants to allow LaNorris Sellers to play football. And maybe that was the biggest complaint of last year, was the simple fact that what we saw Dow Loggins allow LaNorris Sellers to do in 2024 was not, and this goes back to the Illinois Bowl game, not what we saw Mike Shula allow LaNorris Sellers to do. Class is back in session this week after spring break. There are meetings taking place between Lamont Paris and his players. So I think you and I both are kind of on the lookout, especially when we start doing the show maybe tomorrow and Thursday, for any news of players coming out and announcing what their future intentions may be.
Yeah, still 2.5 weeks till the portal opens. But, yeah, just like with football and any other sport, you announce your intentions well before that portal opens, and then obviously you kind of know what you have to work with and what you don't. So, yeah, I would expect soon we'll start learning because, look, again, Paris got to have some honest conversations. Some of these guys that may want to come back, it's like, look, man, we don't see it for you. This is a make or break year, and I can't afford to have you, or we don't think what you bring is valuable enough to keep. Again, you don't want to have those conversations, but you're to that point, and we'll be interested to see how that checks out.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to spend 2 months talking about the death of a program. You don't want to do it. You're frustrated. You're tired of the losing, regardless of sport. You're watching a baseball program now that we keep thinking, well, that's rock bottom. No, that's not. That's rock bottom. That wasn't right. No, that's rock bottom. And is there going to be a midseason move at the coaching position? I doubt it. I'm not a big fan of midseason moves. Just let it play out, and let's get to the end of May and June and see what direction they go. I continuously am of the belief that Paul Mainieri, given his, he's had a legendary career. It's not going well here, and that's that's being nice about it. But I just don't think he wants the stain and the tarnish of technically being fired on his resume. I just can't see a scenario if this continues down this path. And you look at the offensive statistics, and they're offensive. They're atrocious. But if this continues down the path, I don't see how he wants to continue to coach. And I don't know if it does anything I don't know if the way this is playing out with Paul Mainieri maybe, just maybe, gives you a little more appreciation for what Steve Spurrier did. Because the anger, the hate, I think that's a fair word for Steve Spurrier and the way he quit. And he did quit. He quit. But he looked around and he realized he couldn't, it wasn't working. You know, if you've heard more and more of the interviews with Steve Spurrier when he left, he basically was like, I didn't have control of this team. I couldn't coach them. I couldn't do anything. There was nothing I could do anymore. And he had made some decisions that led to that. You know, it wasn't like it just happened overnight. But there's a lot of you out there. There's a lot of you out there that right now would be like, hey, Paul, you see what Steve Spurrier did back in 2015? You need to study that and maybe do it.